We start with a tragic story out of North St. Louis County where a mother and her 2 children were shot and killed inside their home. The victims, Roseann McCulley and her 2 kids, 13-year-old Caden Johnson and 6-year-old Kaylee Brooks. The suspect was identified as Bobby McCulley III, the mother's estranged husband. Police also say he took their 1-year-old child, which caused that Amber Alert to go off overnight. That child is now safe with family. McCulley later took his own life when police tried to arrest him.
Very beautiful young lady. The kids were very manageable. I've been trying all, I ain't even been asleep. I was trying to get some sleep, you know. I'm devastated.
My prayers, my family prayers go out to the family. I hate this even happened to the family.
A Missouri woman spent 2 weeks documenting her marital issues on social media and exposed everything. The abuse, the police reports, her decision to finally walk away. Her posts went viral, her friends rallied around her, and she seemed ready to rebuild her life. But her estranged husband was watching every single post. When police were called about someone suspicious outside her home one night, they searched but found nothing. Hours later, they returned to a scene that would devastate an entire community with 3 lives lost. Before we get too deep, hit the like button, share your take in the comment, and tap subscribe with the bell so you never miss the next episode of Deranged Mind. Roseann McCulley, often called Rosie by her friends, was born on December 8, 1986, in Gosnell, Arkansas. She eventually moved to the St. Louis area in Missouri, where she built a life full of creativity and ambition. After graduating from Ladue Horton Watkins High School, she pursued communications at the University of Missouri in St. Louis, earning her degree in May 2012. Rosie loved art. Whether sketching, painting, or designing custom pieces, she did it with a lot of passion. Months after college, she channeled this passion into building her own brand called Glitter on 8th Craft Studio. Through her business, she handmade items, offered budget-friendly supplies, and shared tutorials that anyone could follow. She also held down a position as a customer service lead at Centene Corporation, balancing her entrepreneurial dreams with a corporate job. Then she met Bobby. Bobby was 35 and they connected through people they both knew. But there were certain parts of his life that were already concerning from the start. His run-ins with law enforcement stretched back to 2008. These weren't minor offenses. At 23, he'd been convicted of false imprisonment and faced charges for tampering with a victim or witness. The court sentenced him to probation for a year and strapped an ankle monitor on him. In 2016, a woman secured a full protection order against him. That same year, another woman contacted authorities about him. Then in 2017, Rosie herself filed a complaint against Bobby. But she chose not to move forward with charges and the case got dismissed. Despite this troubling pattern, Roseann married Bobby McCulley on July 29, 2018. 7 days after their wedding, Rosie posted her excitement online, writing, "7 whole days. I've been Mrs. McCulley for an entire week. I'd do it all again. Hopefully in 7 years I haven't thrown you overboard in Aruba and still feel the same way. I love you. Thanks for making my dreams come true. Here's to a lifetime worth of weeks and an infinite amount of memories." Months later in October 2018, she praised him publicly, describing him as incredibly supportive. To everyone, Rosie appeared happy. Her loved ones had concerns but chose to respect her decision. In August 2019, they had their first child together, Zora, which was Rosie's 3rd child.
Zora, you want some boob?
13 of them.
You want boob? Okay. Okay.
She already had 2 children, Caden Johnson and Kaylee Brooks, from previous relationships. Bobby had children too, but Zora was their shared connection. Rosie hoped this baby would transform their marriage, that becoming parents together would bring positive change. Instead, Bobby's behavior intensified in the wrong direction. Yet her social media still painted a different picture. Then on February 20, 2021, she wrote, "Man, it has been a day and it's only 3 p.m. Who knows how things will change? But it feels good to remove negative stuff from my life." She also posted a question asking if women return their rings when divorcing their husbands. Her followers could tell something was off, but the details were still unclear. Then she shared their text exchanges. Bobby was pleading, apologizing, claiming he had nowhere else to turn. He mentioned police were searching for him and begged Rosey to call them off because he feared losing his job. She refused and was determined to move on without him. The following day she revealed everything. She posted, "I'd have to put this in retirement. I mean, I knew it was a little something, but I definitely never thought I would get hit for not giving it to a man enough. Y'all dudes really out here hitting your wife because they don't sleep with you enough." At 2 a.m. she posted from the hospital. Doctors found injuries she hadn't even realized she had, and she hinted at preparing to defend herself. But she kept sharing. On February 23, 2021, she stated that she would never shelter any man who laid their hands on women. The next day she thanked everyone for their calls, messages, comments, and even financial assistance. She had gained support from a lot of people. But not everyone fully supported. Some commenters criticized her for oversharing. Others thought she was being too vocal about private matters. She asked if anyone could help move Bobby's belongings into storage. She wanted every reason for contact to be cut off. She acknowledged that Bobby was monitoring her posts, but she'd stopped caring. And then Bobby himself commented on one of her posts. He wrote, "Everyone enjoying the show? More to come." He was signaling this wasn't finished and was making threats in plain sight, yet she couldn't have imagined how far he'd actually go. Divorce proceedings started. Rosey had pressed charges on February 20th, but authorities still couldn't locate Bobby. At 6:30 p.m. on March 4, 2021, Rosey spoke with her close friend Stephanie St. John on the phone.
He assaulted her, like, really badly. I said, I need you to leave the house. I don't care where you go. I need you to get out of there.
She last talked to Rosey around 6:30, but planned to check in regularly.
And I'm calling. She didn't answer. And I sent her a text message.
Around 10:30, St. John texted, "Answer me." The response was, "Busy, I will hit you back shortly." St. John wrote, "Girl, I was about to beat these streets." But then she realized that wasn't a normal response from Rosey. She wrote, "Bobby, let my niece go." There was no response. At the time, he may have still been in the house after killing Rosey and her 13-year-old son and 6-year-old daughter.
During their conversation, Rosey confessed she was frightened and that something felt wrong. Stephanie urged her to stay vigilant and keep everything locked. Around 8:30 p.m. that evening, a neighbor spotted someone lurking near homes in the area, particularly around Rosey's property. So they contacted the police. St. Louis County Police Department officers responded to the 4800 block of Lockwig Trail. They searched the area but didn't find anyone. So they left. But Bobby was there. Concealed, waiting, watching from whatever hiding spot he'd chosen. The moment the police left, he forced his way into Rosey's home through a window. Hours passed. Then a neighbor heard screaming, shouting, and banging coming from the house. They also noticed Rosey's lights flashing 3 times. After calling Rosey's phone without answer, they dialed 911. When officers returned for the second time that night, they discovered the broken window. Inside the home, they found 34-year-old Roseann McCulley, her 13-year-old son Caden Johnson, and her 6-year-old daughter Kaylee Brooks, all gone. But Zora wasn't found. Police immediately issued an Amber Alert for the child and launched an intensive manhunt for Bobby McCulley.
Early this morning, our office, working with St. Louis County, the St. Louis County Police Department, issued at-large warrants on suspect Bob McCulley III for three counts of murder in the first degree, 3 counts of kidnapping first degree, 1 count of burglary first degree, and 7 counts of armed criminal action.
He was now wanted for 2 serious charges. By 3:30 a.m. the next morning, the Amber Alert was canceled. Bobby had dropped Zora at a relative's home and she was safe. Then the search for Bobby intensified. Around 8 a.m., they located Bobby's vehicle in the 1300 block of Clinton Street in St. Louis's Old North neighborhood, near his mother's residence. When police approached the vehicle, they found Bobby unresponsive.
First and foremost, all of us here would like to extend our most sincere and heartfelt condolences to the victims, Roseann McCulley, Caden Johnson, and Kaylee Brooks, as well as their family. I'm aware of one of our colleagues in the legal community that has also been directly impacted with respect to these victims. And so on behalf of myself, our entire office, St. Louis County Police Department, the defense attorneys who've reached out, we also want to extend those condolences to her as well. Early this morning, our office, working with St. Louis County, the St. Louis County Police Department, issued at-large warrants on suspect Bob McCulley III for three counts of murder in the first degree, 3 counts of kidnapping first degree, 1 count of burglary first degree, and 7 counts of armed criminal action. Mr. McCulley is currently deceased from a self-inflicted gun wound. I think you all have the probable cause statements, and if you don't, we'll make sure to get those to you. And so for more details on the situation, I'm going to turn it over to Lieutenant Colonel Steve Sack on behalf of the St. Louis County Police Departments, and then I'll come back with a few remarks, and then we'll take a few questions. Lieutenant Colonel.
Afternoon. So last night about 8:30, officers responded to a residence near the victim's residence for a suspicious person. They searched the area. They did not locate anybody out there at that time. About 3 hours later, they received a call for shots fired. And when they responded, they found a window broken in a residence. And that's when they located the 3 victims in the residence. The homicide detectives responded to the scene and immediately began their investigation, and were able to fairly quickly determine that Mr. McCollum was a suspect. They began a diligent search for him. They learned that their 1-year-old daughter had been taken, the child of Mr. McCollum had been taken with him, and they located that child a short time later at a residence of a family member. The child is safe and currently secure at this time. The homicide detectives worked through the night, had a lot of cooperation with some of our specialized units. The city police department assisted us. Mr. Bell's office was outstanding in their assistance with this. They were with the detectives throughout the evening, issued the at-large warrants early this morning, which helped us in our investigation. We appreciate the partnership that we have with the prosecuting attorney's office. They are always willing to step up and help us, and especially these types of cases and many others. But the cooperation that we get from them on a daily basis is certainly appreciated. So thank you, Mr. Bell, for that. Turn it back over to you.
A couple things I want to say. One, I do want to acknowledge again the work of St. Louis County Police Department. We have had the opportunity, and it's always under these type of circumstances where someone has lost their life, to work with them and see firsthand at crime scenes such as last night, Christmas Day, which was another unfortunate tragedy, and to see the professionalism of individuals like Detective Adams, Detective Persich, Lieutenant Longworth, and many others, just to name a few. I do want to commend them on Sergeant John Wall. I do want to commend them on the work that they do. And the last thing I'll say is, as we've all heard the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. I think it also takes a village to protect a child and protect family members. And too often, domestic violence is seen as a problem for women or for victims, when it needs to be a problem for all of us. It's not enough just to say, if you're being harmed, to go seek services. We do want you to do that, and we keep those sources and those resources posted on our social media, on our webpage. St. Louis County does the same. But it's also important that if you have a family member that you see is inclined to this type of violence, or is showing signs of anger, anger management issues, I think it's on all of us to make certain that those individuals get the help they need, or if it's escalating, even family members need to contact law enforcement about their own family members. It cannot just be a victim-oriented solution. It has to be. We all have to be in this fight against this type of violence. So with that said, we'll open it up for a few questions, and again, our most sincere and heartfelt condolences to the victims.
Mr. Bell, were there any warning signs that this man was about ready to snap?
You know, on this one, not much at all. There was a complaint filed in 2017. The victim, unfortunately, not only didn't want to cooperate, but our understanding, and we have looked into that case back in 2017, was that the evidence wasn't there. And as many of you know, the laws do allow us to prosecute even if the victim doesn't cooperate. But if this office is going to do that, we got to have the evidence. If there was a statement made that we can use, we have to have that evidence. In this case, there was no statement that would allow us to prosecute and move forward without the victim. And the victim signed an affidavit back in 2017 that she did not want to cooperate. But again, I just want to add on to that question. In no way are we blaming the victim here. She was victimized. I do want to give context, but this tragedy was not her fault by any stretch of the imagination. Thanks for the question. In 2000, yeah, in 2017, yes. Yes.
No one, she hadn't done anything beyond that since.
I don't know all the details. I wasn't here, as you know, at that point in 2017. But from what I know, and I have talked to our attorneys who were on that unit, they left the case open intentionally to try and see if they could get the evidence to prosecute. But she signed an affidavit of non-prosecution, and the office did not have the evidence to move forward without her testimony.
Is there any indication of a history of domestic violence with other victims by Bobby McCulley? Police released a mug photograph of him, and I was wondering where that came from.
There were some issues in the family with Mr. McCulley and this particular victim. Detectives had been looking for him to further an investigation. They were actually looking for him yesterday. Yesterday morning, they weren't able to locate him, and that was before all of this happened last night.
And what was that in regards to? Had she called to complain?
It was another domestic violence issue. Mr. Bell's office wasn't aware, but hadn't gotten to the prosecution point.
Was it involving this victim?
It was involving this victim, yes.
So there have been stories recently about an uptick in domestic violence, specifically over the last 12 months, specifically during the pandemic. Is your office seeing that? I mean, reflecting the number of cases, et cetera?
You know, not only have we seen it, it's something that we predicted, you know, considering with the shutdown, people are in close quarters. And that's why we were trying to be proactive with respect to getting that information out. As many of you know, we created a domestic violence advisory commission where we work with the Domestic Violence Council to try and make sure that we're connecting individuals with the resources that they need if they ever find themselves in a situation like this. But you know, fast forwarding to a situation like this, most of what happens is upstream of law enforcement. You know, when an individual already has body armor and these types of weapons, and is inclined to do this, it's not much that law enforcement can do, and they did everything that they could. And so, again, I do want to commend them on their work, as well as our office. Myself, Teresa Bonkamp, Captain Clay Farmer, we were there last night to assist law enforcement, and you know, and it's just tragic.
Did law enforcement know if he acted alone, or did he have an accomplice?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Does law enforcement know if the deceased suspect acted alone, or did he have an accomplice?
We believe he acted alone.
Can we go back to you mentioned there was some sort of call that you guys were looking for him. Can you give us any more information on what that call was, who made the call? And
So a neighbor had called in a suspicious person. Sorry, a neighbor had called in a suspicious person report earlier in the evening. It's a subject that had walked between some houses. An officer responded, canvassed the area, talked with some of the neighbors. Nobody had seen the individual. They didn't know where he went. There was a vehicle there. A vehicle didn't come back to anywhere in the area. So the officer looked around, couldn't find anything, so he cleared the call. And it was about 3 hours later that we got the shots fired call.
Almost sounded like you were intimating that this victim had called at some point in recent days.
It was, no,
worried
this
about
was
him. That
this was
not
another this was another a resident from another house that called on a suspicious person call.
Okay. It wasn't a domestic violence.
No, it was a suspicious person call.
Suspicious, okay.
So my understanding is the suspect was found in person's life inside a vehicle. He had taken his own life.
In St. Louis City, yes.
Right. How did officers come upon this? Was there any sort of pursuit? Was anyone around?
No, they had received some information that he was there in the area, and St. Louis City Police Department was assisting us in the investigation, and they went down to look, and they found the subject there. Yes.
So he already taken his life when they came upon the vehicle
Yes.
and found him inside.
Yes.
At what time did he drop his daughter with the family members?
I don't know what time. I don't remember.
Was that well in advance? I mean, you knew the baby was not going to be.
It was
with him in the car?
shortly after. It was shortly after the officers had responded to the scene the second time.
At the homicide.
Yes.
The murders.
Yes.
Okay.
And he's the biological father of the baby, but not the biological father of the two other kids. Is that right?
Correct. Yes. Correct.
And I know you guys said that baby is okay, but was she harmed physically or anything like that, or?
No. The child was taken to the hospital, examined, and released to family members.
This may be for Mr. Bell. Is there something that could have been done? I mean, I don't know if there were enough warning signs here, or what is enough in terms of warning. I know you said we all play a role,
Right.
and if we see something, which almost suggests that maybe there were warning signs that family members or other people ignored. Are you aware of that in this case, or?
You know, in this case, it's tough to say that with certainty with respect to law enforcement. I think much of what was happening, again, was upstream. And I want to be clear. Upon being made aware, St. Louis County did everything that they possibly could. But again, this individual didn't have a long history. And that's why I hate to, you always want to look back and see what we could have done better. And in a case like this, and in domestic violence cases in general, this is a call to action for everyone. If you have, we all, not all, but many have family members who we've seen these kind of volatile relationships, and oftentimes it's family members and friends who see these incidents before they reach our office. And we need people to point their family members or their friends to the types of resources to get them help. Or if it's already crossed that line of violence, sometimes you got to do the uncomfortable thing, which is report it to law enforcement, because, maybe it might strain that relationship, but it might save someone's life too.
I'm going to give you, for instance, I don't know if you can't confirm this, but we ran across some stuff on social media, which now, the day after, seemed to be telling that maybe she was carrying a weapon to defend herself, and she mentioned something about going out without it. I don't know if you're aware of that.
I'm not aware.
Is that anything that rings any bells?
Yeah, I'm not anywhere.
There just seems, I don't know if you have any indication that she was walking around fearful of this man prior to the discovery of the homicide scene last night.
They had been looking for him. There was an investigation going on for a domestic violence issue. They were looking for him yesterday during the day.
Okay. So
And they weren't able to locate him throughout the day. So we had officers out looking for him, reference to a previous case.
had she called?
She had not called yesterday.
No, but I mean, had she called? Who initiated that domestic
Yeah,
violence?
she had called previously for another domestic violence case, yes.
Involving the same man?
Yes.
So just to be clear, what was he accused of doing to her that led police?
I don't know specifics of it, but it was a domestic violence case.
Would you be able, you or Mr. Bell, just for the take home, what are some of the warning signs in a relationship that it could be about to go terribly south? Maybe just two or three things that you should watch for, so you get to that point where you should call the cops and say, I have a concern.
Well, if you're in a relationship,
Talk to me.
I'm sure if you're in a relationship and you're concerned for your safety, or you have a fear of something, you need to call the police. You need to get help. You need to go leave the house. We have advocacy center. You can call. There's a lot of resources that we have that family members can go to get assistance, support, direction. But if ever you're in fear for your safety, you need to call the police. We will certainly direct you to those resources. We will get those resources for you. We can assist with relocation if necessary. Whatever we can do, we will do to keep you safe. So, in this instance, we had been looking for the suspect. She stayed there at the residence with her kids. There wasn't any indications to us that he was going to go back last night. Unfortunately, he was there last night.
Had she threatened him verbally?
I'm sorry?
Had he threatened her, verbally?
I don't know the specifics of the other domestic case.
Did that call come in earlier yesterday, or was it a day preceding?
That was a case from earlier in the month.
Earlier in the
late
month.
last month. Yeah,
Late
it wasn't.
last month?
It wasn't a yesterday case. Right.
Do you think the person who was like the suspicious person call, do you guys think that was him
We believe it was probably him.
going through the neighborhood?
Yes.
Thank you.
But yeah, I think that's all we have for now. We appreciate you reporting on these issues because we do want to get the word out that there are resources that people can utilize. And following up on your question, when you see someone who is, when you see obviously volatile signs, volatility with relationships, when you see someone being alienated and isolated from their friends and families, that's one of the cycles of abuse that we see. But there's so many things. So, there's such a long list. But we do have those resources out. And I think that's a good question. I think we'll continue to put more of those signs because I think it's important for the public to know.
He had filed from divorce for her within the week, right?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Okay.
Okay, thank you all.
The investigation revealed Bobby hadn't evaded capture alone. His mother had aided him. 55-year-old Michelle Clayton was Bobby's mother. According to authorities, she had deliberately deceived them and obstructed their efforts to apprehend her son. She protected him even after knowing what he'd done. Michelle Clayton was arrested and charged with hindering the investigation of a felony, and her bond was set at $25,000. Stephanie St. John had been one of the last people to speak with Rosey.
He assaulted her, really badly.
St. John says she encouraged her friend to take her kids and go stay somewhere safe.
I said, I need you to leave the house. I don't care where you go. I need you to get out of there.
St. John said she last talked to Rosey around 6:30, but planned to check in regularly.
And I'm calling. She didn't answer. And I sent her a text message.
Around 10:30, St. John texted, "Answer me." The response was, "Busy, I will hit you back shortly." St. John wrote, "Girl, I was about to beat these streets." But then she realized that wasn't a normal response from Rosey. She wrote, "Bobby, let my niece go." There was no response.
That is a sick, sadistic individual
who took the life of her dear friend.
St. Louis is going to miss an extraordinary woman.
On Saturday, March 13, 2021, people assembled at the Buzz Westfall Justice Center in Clayton, Missouri, to honor Rosey and her children. Rosey's family attended and spoke about the devastating loss.
I lost my daughter and my 2 grandchildren to something that I never imagined would happen. It's so heartbreaking because she's only 1 and she's not going to remember a lot, but I'm going to make sure that she's steeped in family. They saw exactly what had been done to her and they charged it as some misdemeanor, assault 3 or something, which meant they could only put out a wanted, which means that they weren't actively looking for him. Had he run across them at a traffic stop or something, they might have arrested him, but they didn't actively go out and find him.
Police stated they'd been searching for Bobby but hadn't believed he posed an immediate danger.
We had been looking for the suspect. She stayed there at the residence with her kids. There wasn't any indications to us that he was going to go back last night.
Claiming there was no indication he would return that night. People who knew Rosey had a lot of unanswered questions. Did her posts provoke him? Would silence have saved her? Or did those posts provide the only record of her struggle, the only documentation of what she endured? Did he spare Zora because she was his biological child while the others weren't? If officers had searched longer when the first call came in about the suspicious person, could they have found him before he broke in? Why did his mother choose to protect him instead of helping authorities? On March 1, 2021, Rosey had posted, "I'm definitely ready to walk down that aisle again." She was looking forward to finding love again, moving on, planning her future. She'd mentioned 2 trips scheduled for that year: the Dominican Republic in July and Bali in December. But sadly, she never got to take those journeys. Remember, danger can wear a friendly face. Stay aware, look out for others, and reach out if you need help. See you in the next case on Deranged Mind. Thanks for watching.
Thank you all for giving me an opportunity to come and speak with you and share with you. I actually just got off the plane. My father told me this was happening, and so I just wanted to come and share with the family and with those right now that are suffering and hurting. Just to share with you. I didn't come to get a mic. I didn't come to be in a picture or in a paper. I came to be with you to let you know that your Congresswoman loves you. And I want you to know that the work that I'm doing along with my team and so many others of us in DC in Congress affects this here. This is the work. This is the work. We have to put focus in areas where there has not been real focus. And we know there has not been enough focus because it keeps happening. And so we have to do that work. And I am coming from, and you all know my story, I'm a survivor myself. And the only way I got out, this man standing right here in this Corey Bush shirt, my father, after almost 2 years and almost losing my life 3 times, my dad, I called him one day. I couldn't even talk to him. I didn't even want to talk to him. I was so ashamed about what I was going through, about what I was allowing. I was so hurt and broken. But one day I just picked up the phone at work and I called and I didn't say a word. And he didn't even know it was me. He just said, "I'll be there to get you." And he gave me a time and I was ready with trash bags and I threw him out the door, and my dad called him and threw him in his van, and that was the end of that situation. Saved my life. But this is the thing. When we give space for people to be able to come to us, that's a place. So let us remember, while we're standing here in support with the family and the loved ones, what is our work as a community? Do we support them? Do we support people who are currently going through it by watching what we say on social media, about watching how we talk when someone comes to us with an issue, and how are we judgmental? Are we questioning? Do they see us question when someone says that they've been attacked? When someone says, "I need to get away from this person," do they see us being judgmental, or do they see us as an ear? Do they see us as someone that is welcoming, that won't judge, and that will open our doors? Do they see that from us? So that's our work as a community, as community members. Let us be that open door. Let us be that safe space. If you can be a safe space, say, "I'm a safe space." That's our work. I'm a safe space, because as we are safe, being that safe space, we save lives. Our work, we have to save lives, y'all. It's time out for allowing this stuff. She could be here right now. Roseann could be here right now. Kaden could be here right now. But we will use every bit of their stories, every bit of their stories, to be able to save somebody else. And I know that won't bring them back. And I'm sorry we didn't do the work as a community to save them. But thank you for stepping up and wanting to do the work to save others. And so we will work with you. As your Congresswoman, I will work with you. My team will work with you, and whoever else. There are other people standing out here right now, not even just women, but there are other people out here right now that are suffering in silence. You have folks that are here that are ready to receive you and talk to you. You don't even have to say a word. Just walk up to them and just stand in front of them. Make the first step. And as they're making their first step as a community, we'll do our part. Are we in agreement with this? Are we in agreement? And lastly, I'll say this. Perpetrators of abuse have families. So let us look at our own family. Let us look in our own homes, in our own circles, in our own networks, and not allow it. We know Jesse has tendencies. We know that Terrell has been a little. We know that Sarah's been. We know. So let's call that thing out. Let's offer therapy. Therapy works. Therapy is okay. Therapy is okay. Therapy is okay. Let's offer it. I'm a product of the YWCA. Therapy works. So let's reach out and let's take care of our community. Thank you all.